this morning with the sunrise in my eyes. My rock's sweeter, meet the one I love. I don't know how, don't know why, I've been toasting all my life. Oh, it's sweeter, I've been toasting all my life.
Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Hi everyone and welcome to another night of Live Penguin TV. My name is Jordan, I'm your host tonight, and Michael is joining us again this evening. Michael, come on in and let us know what you're going to be doing tonight.
Good evening everyone. I'll be assisting Jordan in helping you guys try and stomp her with the hardest questions you've got. So start sending through the questions. I'll be checking the YouTube and Facebook, and I'll pass them on to Jordan. So I'll look forward to hearing from you soon.
Beautiful. So we are always getting lots of really, really great questions from our Waddle watchers out there, all of our regular viewers and first-time viewers watching Live Penguin TV. So if you have a question, a burning question at any point throughout the stream, please do post it in YouTube or Facebook, and Michael will definitely be delivering me some of your trickier questions throughout the stream. We try to keep it a little bit different every night, so let's have some really, really great questions coming through. But we aren't obviously able to answer every single person's questions because we do get so many, which is fantastic. So on Facebook we do have a team of rangers who will be going through and answering your questions within the next 24 hours or so. So hang in there, we will get your questions answered on Facebook. Unfortunately we can't do that on YouTube, so Michael is definitely going to be kind of mainly focusing on YouTube, but occasionally flicking over to Facebook to see all your great questions. So keep the questions coming, and also if you really want to get your question answered live on the air, tune in night after night, keep asking those questions, and we might be lucky enough to ask it and answer it live on the air as well. So we're here at the Penguin Parade waiting for the little penguin. Our little penguins are the smallest species of penguin of the 18 species of penguins. So we're really excited to be able to welcome them back home to Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia. But just before I forget, I was just showing Michael a little bit earlier. I wanted to show you a penguin neighbour before it got too dark and before I forgot as well. So we're going to be going kind of behind Penguins Plus stand. Down, oh, there we go, to a nest down here, and we've got a familiar face hanging out just in the little tussock grass here, and we have a purple swamp hen. So these are a native Australian bird that live here on Phillip Island with the penguins, and this one here is actually sitting on at least 2 chicks. So we saw it feeding them before. Oh, look at you, you're making your nest a little bit more beautiful. And these birds, they kind of eat reeds, frogs, bugs and things, so they're not a threat to the penguins. But yeah, we got really excited when we were able to turn around the camera and see this guy hanging out literally just on the side of a dried up creek bed. So if you have been watching Live Penguin TV before, you're probably very familiar with the creek or with the puddle. So when we did have lots of rain, this dried up creek bed on the side was filled with lots of water, and probably would have been able to just jump off to the side and grab a quick snack from a frog or anything kind of nearby. But yeah, we just literally saw that a few minutes before we went live, and I wanted to show you guys, so hope you liked it. Now, Michael, did I hear you got a call from John, our penguin counter, tonight, or am I imagining things?
No, I got a call. He said there's a couple of little rafts that have arrived, but they're doing the little, come in and tease us for a bit and then swim back out. So yeah, they're not quite ready yet, I don't think.
Penguins are teasing us. That is pretty much our motto here at the Penguin Parade. So right now, while it's very, very light, and it's not really safe for the penguins to start coming ashore just yet, because what they're doing is they're waiting for it to get nice and dark. Did I spot something there? Am I imagining things again? Nope, just imagining things. So these penguins, because they are so small, it's really important for them to spend most of their day out in the ocean, where their blue feathers help them camouflage against the surface of the water. So if there's any aerial predators out there, they can make sure that they are very well camouflaged and well hidden from anyone around. But when it starts to get, when it starts to get a little bit darker, that's when they can start to, is that a raft? That's when they can start to come ashore. So what we're looking for at the moment are a raft of penguins, which is a group of penguins out in the ocean, and I can see a few shadows out there. So that's exactly what a raft of penguins looks like. That's a few little heads bobbing up and down, and their tails are up in the air as well. Come on, camera, let's focus. Come on. You're making me look bad, camera. Let's go. I can see it. Oh, yep, there we go. Let's now zoom in now that we are a little bit more focused. So they're out there, they're chatting to each other, they're trying to work out if it's time to come in yet. Come on, camera, when I zoom in.
So John just mentioned that we have penguins at the water's edge now too.
Ooh, penguins at the water's edge, beautiful. Whereabouts are those, Michael, did he say?
No, he didn't give you any information, sorry.
No, that's okay. So we've had penguins at the water's edge, which means they are very, very keen to come home. So it's now up to us to see if we can find them. Now let's scan right along the edge of the water. So Penguins Plus, just in front of us here, is the most popular pathway for the penguins to come home. Doesn't look like we can see anything just yet. So we're looking for their little white bellies at the edge of the water, or for them kind of swimming around at the edge, because when the sun sets, when it gets a little bit darker, that's when the penguins know it's time to come home. It's safe. Those predatory birds such as swamp harriers, sea eagles, Pacific gulls, they've returned to their nest for the night, which means these penguins, they're really, really vulnerable when they start crossing the beach, can do so without getting swooped down on. So let us know in the comments if you can see them. I'm struggling at the moment. We've got a little bit of swell. Is that anything over there? It's definitely harder to tell when we've got waves out and about. A few nights ago we had a really beautiful, clear and calm night. But no, I can't spot them. But if you do, let us know in the comments, and that might be able to help direct the camera over here, because it's harder than you think talking and trying to spot penguins as well. Now, there's probably something that you water watchers have been desperate to know, and that is how many penguins crossed the beach last night. So Michael has the magic number, Michael. I'm getting tongue-tied. Magic Mike, there we go. Didn't want to say it. Let us know how many penguins we had cross the beach last night.
So the penguin numbers for last night, drum roll, was 1,404.
1,404 penguins. That is a mammoth night. And I believe Sonia was counting last night, and I was actually helping Sonia counting the penguins off East Stand. And over here we have Sally, who will be counting the penguins kind of on that far side tonight, and she'll be radioing John through the numbers that she sees, because it's a little bit harder to spot the penguins from over there. But John is our penguin counter tonight, and he is just up in this skybox, this building over here, getting ready to count. In fact, I think I can see his arms up with the binoculars. It looks like he's looking right at us. I would radio him through, but I'm sure he's just about to start counting penguins, and it looks like he's pointing the binoculars over our way, which means I'm going to quickly go back over to Penguins Plus to see if we can see them again, because we weren't having any luck at the water's edge. So there might have kind of been, like what Michael said earlier, kind of dancing around and teasing us at the water's edge, and then very, very shortly they will decide that it's dark enough, that it's safe enough, that they can start waddling their way up across the beach. Oh, yep, and there they are. Thanks for the heads up, John. We were able to see exactly where the penguins were based on where his binoculars are. Oh, it's a nice big group to start off with, everyone. And look, there's a few of them running back in the water. Are these brave few ones at the start are you gonna cross, or are you gonna wait? What are you gonna do? They don't seem too fussed about the other ones that ran back. Because normally what happens if a whole bunch of penguins run back, they all run back, because if there's something scary, oh no, it definitely looks like they're making a beeline for it, and the ones in the water are starting to come back as well. So welcome home, little guys. You don't have a long stretch of beach to cross tonight, so it's a shorter, dangerous dash for these penguins to come home tonight when there's a high tide, when the waves and when the water is really, really close to shore. So send all your love and all your luck to John and Sally, who are counting the penguins tonight. They definitely have a really, really tough job, especially counting all these penguins climbing over these rocks, which are a very, very similar colour to the penguins as well. So the best way you can spot them, it still looks really light out there on this camera though, hey?
So John just called a start at 8:24,
Start
which is the same as last night.
There we go. One thing I've always said is these penguins are quite punctual. They crossed the beach right now at 8:24, and that's exactly the same time that they crossed the beach last night. So he will be now busy counting these penguins as they waddle on up, as they start hopping over the rocks. So let us know in the comments how many penguins you think are in this group. And if John is not too busy counting, he might be able to let us know over the radio how many penguins there are in this group, or in this waddle as we like to call them here at the Penguin Parade. So welcome home, guys, but we would love to hear in the comments how many penguins you think are in each waddle. And even how many penguins you think are going to come in tonight as well. We're hoping for some nice big numbers. So 1,404 last night if you missed it. That is a lot of penguins. You guys going to stop and have a bit of a rest? What are you guys going to do? I'm really, really excited to, in a moment, which I'm sure they will very shortly, show you our brand new side camera as well. So it looks like a lot of these penguins are going to head directly under, oh, that's a chunky penguin, going to head directly under the boardwalk, exactly where these people are sitting. So we'll lose them in just a moment. Let us now maybe head back. I'll zoom out a touch so we can see them a little bit better. Wow, they're so clear and so easy to see with these new cameras. How good is this? Alrighty. One thing before I get stuck talking about penguins too, actually hang on, before even that, I think we might have heard something from John, have we?
Yeah, that was 77 in that first group, so...
There we go, 77 in that first group, Water Watchers. I wonder how accurate you all were. Good work, everyone. Oh, there's Ranger Pip. Got a few penguins hanging around the side, and I reckon very, very shortly they will be heading up our highway camera. So when I see them coming around the corner, I will be flicking to our highway number 1 camera, which is the most popular route for the penguins to get home, and I'll be able to show you some of our new technology that Megan got to trial out last night. So I reckon they're nearly there. There we go. So we are now officially open 7 days a week. Everyone know, yep, here we go. So you could be sitting watching the penguins coming in right now. Oh, look at them go. All right, we ready? Are you ready? Oh my God, the camera can't move fast enough. Hey, guys. And we get to see them waddle up the hill as well. Look at them go. Highway number 1. It looks like there's a few penguins kind of coming out from under the boardwalks. That's a very waddly penguin. Look at him. So they've got their own individual unique walking styles, and you can see them perfectly with this new camera. You can see them from the front as they're coming up from the ocean, and then when we turn it around, we can see them like this as well. So a few of them are definitely, Michael's just having a bit of a chuckle to himself. Let's now turn it back around. I wonder if there's any more coming up. Otherwise, we might have to scooch back to the main camera. Oh, look, there's some penguin poo. If everyone has watched live Penguin TV with me before, gosh, that's so zoomed in. You might know me as the Poo Fairy or the Poo Girl. And very recently, we've actually been collecting penguin poo. So it's a good little sample that we've spotted just over there. Oh, yep, and here we go. We've got another little group coming up the highway. Michael can't stop laughing at me tonight. All right, let's follow these guys around again. Oh, you're falling over a little bit. Go nice and slowly so the camera can catch up with you. Hello. Hello. Oh, no. Moving, moving, moving. I'm in love with this new camera. It's so cool. Hey, little dudes. So I hope you're all just as excited about this new camera as I am, because yeah, we were told, and we had to keep it a little bit of a secret for a while, that we can't tell anyone because it might not happen, but it's officially happened. We can zoom now on this camera highway and we can pan it around, which is really, really cool. Okay, so I'm just having a little bit of a look at the main beach, and it looks like we might have a few more penguins kind of washing around at the water's edge, so I will just quickly jump back. Now, what I was about to say before I was so rudely interrupted by the penguins is I just wanted to say quickly happy NAIDOC week to everyone. So if you've been watching this week, you'll know that we are celebrating NAIDOC week here in Australia, which is a celebration of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, communities, achievements and cultures. So I encourage all of you to say happy NAIDOC week to your Indigenous and non-Indigenous friends, and also get involved in some of the events events and the activities around the place, which are some great fun, and you can learn a little bit more about the Indigenous people of your local area as well. And so because of that, I want to acknowledge that we are here on Bunurong land on Malau, known as Phillip Island, and the Bunurong people are the traditional custodians of the land, so I pay my respects to their elders past, present and future, and I want to thank them for living so peacefully and sustainably with the land, with these penguins, with all the animals and the plants for many, many thousands of years, because the Bunurong were the first people to come here on Phillip Island before European settlement in Melbourne in 1770. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about the culture of the land that you're on, maybe even learnt about what the land is called that you're on, or who the traditional custodians are. We'd love to know in the comments, and we'd love for you to say Happy NAIDOC Week to all of us here as well, and let us know who the traditional custodians of the land that you're joining us from today. Now, I have talked... Sorry. Got a frog in my throat. No, I'm good. I won't make that comment, it's okay. Let's have a little bit of a look at these guys just in the water. So I've talked a little bit about time and how the Bunurong have been here for so many thousands of years, and we've had Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islander people have been in Australia for over 65,000 years. It's one of the oldest ongoing continuing cultures. Here we go, we've got a nice raft coming in now. Longest continuing cultures in the world. Oh my god, that's so many penguins. But the penguins predate people. I found out a couple of fun facts today from Dr. Andre, who is our local penguin biologist who works for us here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. And he said that the little penguins here, as we know it, arrived here, with our first kind of record of them here in Australia was 2.4 million years ago, which is a very, very, very long time ago. And the first penguin specimen, or the oldest penguin specimen that we have found, the oldest fossil that we found, was over 50 million years ago. So pretty incredible stuff, if you ask me. And I just wanted to share that fun fact because that's something new that I learned today as well. So you might have met Andre in our live Penguin TV special a few weeks ago. We had a little bit of a penguin expert chat with him, which was really, really great fun. But we do a lot of research, especially into penguins. We've got our penguin, Team Penguin as we like to call them. We've got our conservation team as well, who look after not only penguins, but lots of other threatened plants and animals all over the island, and making sure it stays nice and safe. And we've got a wonderful team of education rangers as well. My gosh, that's so many penguins. Send your love to John. We've got education rangers who run programs with schools about environments and how we can best learn about and protect the environment as well. So here at Phillip Island Nature Parks, we're a non-for-profit conservation organisation, which means if you have come and visited us in the past, if you've donated to the Penguin Foundation by symbolically adopting a penguin or becoming a penguin pal, you're helping us with our ongoing conservation education and research project. So we're really, really grateful to all of you who have donated in the past and who have come to visit us. We're really, really looking forward to having you join us in the flesh soon. We're maxed out at 50 people at the moment, so if you are wanting to come to the Penguin Parade, please make sure you book ahead, because we are booked out for a few days at least, I believe, and we don't want you to be disappointed at the door. Now, I totally lost what I was going to say. But yeah, by coming to visit us here at the Penguin Parade at Churchill Island Heritage Farm, at the Koala Conservation Reserve, or if you can't come and visit us now, if you donate to the Penguin Foundation with the link in the description below, you are helping to keep these penguins beautiful and safe. So really, really grateful to that for everyone. Now, I've just spotted something really interesting on our highway camera, and it is a penguin that appears to be going the wrong way. And for our regular water watchers out here, you'll know exactly what is going on. This over here is a shell gritter. So a female penguin who has got eggs in her tummy, and she is slowly making her way down to the beach after spending the day in her burrow, and she's going to go down to the beach and nibble on some little bits of seashells to help make her eggshells nice and strong, because in the next 4 to 5 days or so, that's when she will be laying her 2 eggs. And what female penguins do when they're getting ready to lay their eggs is they strip the calcium from their bones to make their eggshells nice and strong. So she's got some calcium cravings, and very slowly we will probably see her heading on down. Oh, and here are some penguins charging along the penguin highway here as well, but you can see she's not really deterred. She's just going to kind of get out of the way. She doesn't want to get bowled over.
Thanks, Sally.
I think we might have heard something over the radio, everyone.
Yeah, so Sally said on the far east where she's counting, there's a cormorant scattering the penguins between the 2 groups, so you might want to flick over there and have a look.
Interesting. So, if you didn't hear that, sounds like we actually have a cormorant, so a type of bird who's flying around the beach on the far east. So I'm just going to move away from the penguins for just a tick. Look at them all floating around in the water. Let's zoom out first. Hold on a tick. Everything is happening tonight. So a cormorant wouldn't eat penguins, but if there is anything flying out and about around dusk, that is definitely, there's a whole group of them in the water over there. The penguins aren't going to stop and identify the bird. Look at them running up the highway. They're not going to stop. They are just going to run for shelter. So we can see they are a little bit scattered at the moment. They haven't decided to just go in a big group. They're just going in more of a line, and they are charging up the beach. Look at that line of penguins. It's not even a waddle. It's not even a group. It's a line of penguins. Look at them go. I can't see that cormorant though. Can anyone else? Let us know in the comments if you can. Oh, and there's a penguin scurrying along on the highway. 3 more penguins scurrying along. Nah, can't see anything. That's all right.
That's a pretty cool view though.
It's a very cool view. You can see it would be much easier to count penguins over on the east side because there's so much more sand. The penguins don't blend in quite as well with the rocks. So what it looks like, we've got a few penguins, only a small little group of them, just in between these 2 grandstands. Looks like that might be 4 penguins. So if you have general viewing tickets, everyone, these are the penguins that you would be viewing, and they would be coming up in between these 2 grandstands. And in fact, the penguins that go, there's even another little group. Hang on. Let me show you. It's just behind my head at the moment. There we go. Penguins everywhere. So they are coming up all the way along the beach every night, but our most popular penguin pathway is Penguins Plus. It's kind of the one that's closer to us. But what I was saying is the pathway, the kind of furthest, is it 3 penguins? Yeah, let's go on to them. These penguins that are kind of crossing up over here, and there's a 4th one that's like, wait for me, are going to be going up through a contraption called a weighbridge. He's really going for it. So a lot of these penguins will be microchipped because there's a study site not too far inland, and so they'll have a microchip and they'll go through this little weighbridge, and there's even one more hanging around on the water's edge. And they'll go through this weighbridge. The weighbridge will scan the microchip at the back of the penguin. It will register its weight, and so we know penguin 23567 has decided to come in at, 8:38 Australian time. There we go. And yeah, we have a really good record of their weights, how often they come in, and how much they've been eating as well, which is really important, especially during the breeding season, which is what it is just now. So I'm gonna jump back to the main beach because this is where we see most of the penguins. So if you bought a ticket to Penguins Plus, or you are buying a ticket, you get to see 60 to 70% of your overall penguins coming up just over here. And it looks like, hold on, we've got another shell grinner coming down the highway as well. Hey girlie, coming down to nibble on some little bits of seashell. Let's see if he can follow you down. Oh, you're going too quick for me. Hold on. You can see all the little penguin footprints in the highway. There's our poo again. Where is she? There we go. Not being stopped at all by this little waddle of 5 penguins coming up the highway just now. She is on a mission. She is determined. Although, is she stopping to have a little bit of a look at the ground now? Oh no, she's just decided to keep on going. There she goes. She's a mama with her cravings. So I did mention that we are going to be, Michael is going to be monitoring the Facebook and YouTube for questions tonight. So I have been talking for a little while already, so I might go for a question, Michael.
All right.
Let's have one.
Got a few clever questions here. So one was, how long do the eggs take to form?
How long do the eggs
Yeah.
take to form, like in mum's tummy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you've probably heard us talk a little bit about how after the egg is laid, that it's 35 days of incubation and then 7 to 11 weeks for the chick to be fully grown. But I'm not sure if we've talked too much about how long it takes for an egg to be fertilized and then be laid. So we don't actually know the exact number. We think it's somewhere around 20 days. And the reason it's hard to tell is because you have to be obviously watching the penguins when they're having their special cuddles. And because they have these special cuddles, because they mate quite frequently, it can be a little bit hard to know which of those attempts was actually successful. But yeah, we think somewhere around 20 days, which is, yeah, good question. I think I've shared this story before as well, but we had some chicks in our study site, the study site that Megan and I check quite frequently. They fledged and then 9 days later, mum and dad already had eggs. So they'd been mating, they'd been having their special penguin cuddles while their kids that hadn't even left the nest were still at home. So it is a fairly quick process, about 20 days or so. So yeah, good question.
Yeah,
Thanks for that,
cool,
Michael.
yeah.
Now you said there's a couple of tricky questions. Let's have another one then, maybe.
Well, I don't know about this one, but I'll give it a go.
Wait, you said you don't know if I'll answer it?
Yeah. It's a tricky one, but you've got a lot of good knowledge, so I'm pretty sure that you might have a clue.
Oh, you've got too much faith in me, Michael. Thank you.
So, do penguins have the same blood type?
What a great question.
Yeah, it's something that even if you don't know it, you could look it up or ask Andre.
Yeah, do penguins have the same blood type? I'm stumped. I actually don't know. I wonder if animals in general have the same blood type, because obviously we've got O's, we've got A, B negative, all that good stuff. I do not know. That is definitely something we will have to do a little bit of research on, or even ask Professor Penguin, because that's not something that we kind of regularly talk about, and that's not something I've ever been asked. So really, really great question for whoever that was.
Well, I did just look it up on Google, and it says animals do have different blood types. So
okay,
yeah, it doesn't say anything specifically about penguins, but yeah.
So Michael's just done a bit of a Google. He's done his Googles, and animals do have different blood types, which of course makes sense. We are animals as well, of course. But yeah, that will definitely be a question for Professor Penguin, Dr. Andre, and I will... Look, he might not get back to me over the weekend. I did send him a question earlier today after kind of close of business. I was like, I got a question about penguin evolution. Can you tell me? And he was very kind and he did let me know. But I would definitely ask, because you might have, if you have been kind of watching this week, you'll know that we've been doing some blood sampling of these penguins recently to kind of look into the diet to see what they've been eating. And so Megan, Paula and I were doing that on Sunday night. We were out till 2 a.m. collecting penguin blood. And what we learnt from that, or we haven't learnt exactly what they've been eating just yet, but we actually separate the red blood cells to the plasma, and the plasma tells us kind of in a lot of detail what they've been eating in the last 4 to 5 days, and the red blood cells, or the whole sample, tells us what they've been eating in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is really, really cool. So that's kind of all I know about blood. Penguin blood is actually something relatively new to me, because that was the first time on Sunday night that I got to go out sampling the blood with Paula and Megan, which was great fun. It was a really interesting process. But yeah, you've definitely stumped me. Great questions. Please keep them coming, and I will do my best to come back with an answer. So thank you for that.
Thanks for the question.
You, Michael, would stump me. Oh, it looks like we've got another group coming up right at the water's edge, just over here. Now, we're probably nearly 20 minutes into the count, are we, Michael?
Yep.
So we've probably got about 5 or so minutes left of the count to go. But again, if you've been watching live Penguin TV with me, you'll know that 5 minutes left to go usually turns into 5, 10, maybe 15 sometimes. So yeah, we'll probably wrap up in roughly 5 minutes, which will be closer to 10, I promise, don't you worry. Let us now watch these guys as they start hopping up over the rocks, and I will try to jump to our brand new highway camera when the next group starts to kind of waddle around the corner. Here they come. So something else interesting that I've been doing today. So I was working today, but I got to work from home. Woohoo! No penguin poo for me. I mean, I'm very sad actually. Again, poo fairy. You know, I love to talk about poo. Always get covered in poo. That's a bit of context for who I am and what I do. That sounds so strange. What am I on about? But what I was doing today is we're kind of looking into the breeding success of little penguins, and we're really interested in looking in their divorce rates, how successful they are, how many clutches they have in the year, and how long they sit on the eggs, how long they raise their chicks for. Oh, in fact, here we go. Let's jump on the penguin highway. Here we go. Look at them waddling along. So I've been looking at something called our pair file, which has penguin kind of marriages dating back to before the year Where are you going? Back to the year 2000. Oh, here we go. And get looks kind of at how old the penguins were back then, if they keep pairing up with the same partner year after year. It's a really massive Excel spreadsheet, and I've only just started on it today. Just kind of making sure everything's all correct and fixing any errors and things. Hey, little dudes. And yeah, seeing how successful penguins are, if the pairs are the ones that are successful, if it's the individual penguins like you there are successful. Or whether it's kind of the nest box that seems to be the one, because we do often find that certain nest boxes or certain burrows, natural burrows, do perform better, and they are able to yield kind of more chicks, be more successful at chick rearing, which I found was very, very interesting.
And what about the distances? You know how some of the penguins have to walk 2 kilometres away?
Yeah.
Is there any sort of, if you're closer to the water, is it more successful, or is it more successful? Like,
that's a good question. So I don't believe a huge amount of... Is that something that's come through? Is this just a question you have? There we go. Michael's asking a question as well. Why not? Yeah, so I don't believe they've done too much study into exactly kind of if they're further in, if they're better or worse compared to the penguins at kind of closer to the water's edge. But something I do remember Andre talking about was that even though, of course, you'd want to have a beautiful beachside residence, so while we're speaking about beautiful beachside residences, I might just pop our camera just over here where we can see a few penguins just in the vegetation. And I know there's a few burrows in this space as well. So when they do come home, they don't have very, very far to make it to their burrows when they come on land. But what he did say that in some cases, that the closer to the edge of the water you are, the more subject to predation you'll be. So that's because there's lots of predatory birds kind of flying around the coast looking for fish kind of on the top of the water, or anything kind of around the cliffs and things that they can swoop in and get. And if you have been to Phillip Island, you'll know that it can get a little bit wild and woolly down here as well. So some of the burrows that are closer to the edge of the water, they're kind of... they get the wind, they get the rain, they get a lot of erosion. So the penguins have to do lots and lots of maintenance to their burrows near the edge of the water, near the cliffs, just because of all those kind of weather events. So it's hard work to have a prime location. So yeah, they have found that in some cases that it's actually a little bit more beneficial to be further inland, even though it might take you a little bit longer to get in there. You don't have to do quite as much maintenance of your burrow, and there's fewer kind of instances of predation. So
great answer.
Hope that answers the question. Great. Awesome. Let's now jump back over here, I reckon. So let's have 1 or 2 more questions from the audience before we head off tonight, everyone.
So we get another question. So the chicks this year, will the chicks this year molt?
Will the chicks molt this year, the ones that kind of hatch this year?
The ones that have hatched this year, will they molt like in a couple of months, or will they have to wait the whole year?
I can make a big story about this one, Michael. Thank you. So first of all, I might talk about the molting process, which will be coming up fairly shortly. And it looks like we had a few more coming up the highway. Here we go. Yeah, so every year adult penguins lose and replace all their feathers because it's really important that helps keep their feathers warm and waterproof. You guys are going to be too quick for me, I think. Oh, look at this nice chunky penguin. Yeah, so they lose and replace all their feathers, which helps keep them nice, warm and waterproof and safe out in the water. So if you do come to the penguin parade, you'll probably notice that you can really tell the difference between a juvenile and an adult penguin, because the juvenile penguins that are only a few kind of weeks old, they're just about to fledge, they're almost like, they're so beautiful, bright navy blue, whereas the adults are a little bit more dull. And that's because at the end of the breeding season, what the adults will do, what the parents will do after they've kicked the chicks out of the burrow, they will head out into the water for a few days or a few weeks at a time, really fatten themselves up and come back twice the size. So if you think there's some fat chunky penguins coming in right now, my goodness, I can't wait for you guys to see the molting season, because it's pretty much like football sized penguins coming in. They really struggle waddling in because they have to be double the weight so that they can spend 2.5 to 3 weeks on land, losing and replacing all of their feathers. So you'll never see a penguin in the colony with grey feathers because they lose and replace them every year. So after that molting process, they'll be really skinny, probably just like the juvenile penguins, but they'll have a beautiful brand new set of bright navy blue feathers, and they'll look very similar to juvenile ones as well. So the question was, now that I've kind of explained all that, do the juvenile penguins molt?
Molt in their first year.
Yeah, so they're hatching now and they're heading out to ocean kind of October, November. They won't be molting. Oh, we've got a few more coming up the highway as well. They won't be molting in the upcoming season. They will be doing it the following season because they've already got their beautiful brand new feathers that they've just kind of grown in the last couple of weeks. Look at them waddling on up. But yeah, they will definitely be molting the following year. So I don't think we've had that question either. So good one. Thanks, Michael. We might now jump back to our main camera and have a little bit of a look around. I know there's another popular spot just kind of over here, and we've definitely, it mustn't be too cold out there, because usually at this time of the night people are getting a little bit cold after sitting. After sitting still. Where are you going, little dude? For still for so long. I'm going to join that group. Safety in numbers. Nice work. But yeah, they're having a great time watching the penguins. So yeah, we're really looking forward to having you back here at the Penguin Parade very shortly. But again, if you can't wait to come and join us here, please make sure you book, because we don't want you to be disappointed at the door when we don't have any tickets available, because we only have 50 people allowed at the moment with the current capacity. But hopefully very shortly, as the restrictions ease, we'll be able to welcome more and more of you back. But if you are coming down to Phillip Island, you can walk around the Nobbies, and you might be lucky enough on the boardwalk while you're walking along to see any little kind of faces poking out of the penguin boxes. You might be able to get a quick photo and say hello of these guys. And we've also got the Koala Conservation Reserve, which is looking after some of our bushfire affected koalas, as well as Churchill Island Heritage Farm. It's a great kind of day out in a heritage farm with lots of cool animals and some really interesting kind of displays. We've got whip cracking and a working dog show, which is really cool. That, and there's tons of beautiful walks and beaches that you can spend your time on here on Phillip Island. So there is definitely plenty to do, even if we can't welcome you back to the Penguin Parade because we are so short on numbers. But if you are joining us, can I please ask all of you to, one thing that's really important, we've got so many people who have come down from Melbourne, which is great for stimulating, our local economy, but please make sure you're sticking to the tracks. And if you are going down to the beach, especially with a dog, making sure you've got your dog on leash, because we do have some critically endangered hooded plovers with us here on Phillip Island, and they're fledging success, so they're young. Their chicks really depend on making sure that there's no dogs around that are going to chase their parents or kind of kill them either. So please make sure you've got your dog on leash, especially if you see a sign around that says there's hooded plovers nearby, because we've got about 10% of the hooded plover population here on Phillip Island. And that one just pooed. So we want to make sure they have a really great year as well. So stick to the paths and keep your dogs on leash on the beach, if I can ask that of everyone, guys. Let us zoom in on these guys as we get Michael to ask me one more question, then we might sign off for the night. So let's have one, Michael.
Just a quick one. So do the penguins make any sounds under the water from what you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
any sounds under the water? I wish I could tell you that I've swum with them under the water to let you know. And that's actually another question I don't really know the answer to. I know Michael has been out surfing and has had penguins kind of swimming around him. And they make a very familiar sound, which I don't think I've actually said yet today, everyone. So I'm really, really sorry. When they're out in the ocean, they make a sound called a huck, which sounds like huck, 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 huck. Come on, Michael. Huck, huck, huck. Gotta make everyone do a little huck off. Yeah, so they make that noise when they're above water. What about you, Michael? Have you heard them when they've been underwater?
No, I'm not too sure if they do make a sound underwater.
Yeah. So we have actually put a little kind of penguin GoPro on a penguin to see exactly what they get up to during the day, but unfortunately there was no sound on that camera. Actually, maybe there was, but it was all you could hear was kind of the water rushing by. Yeah. So yeah, again, another question that I don't quite know. Actually, no, I don't want to speculate because I don't know. It might have to be another one for the Google. So Michael is stumping me with all of these wonderful questions tonight. So definitely something I will be coming back. I think I'm on the stream again on Monday and I'll be able to share my research with you. So I hope you're all excited for that. Alrighty everyone, so I think it is about time for Michael and I to head off for the night, and we've got a lovely group of penguins hanging out just here, so I might keep them. That one just had a bit of a yawn. Might keep our camera here as we say goodbye to you tonight. I hope you've had a wonderful time. Make sure you tune in night after night. I think, is tomorrow Saturday?
Yep, tomorrow
Yeah,
Saturday.
so Sky and Helen will be back tomorrow night with the Japanese live stream. So I'll kind of be doing 50-50 English and 50-50 Japanese. So make sure you tune in for that and you can learn a few new words, which will be really good. I know I'll be tuning in as well and get your weekly penguin fix, all you regular water watchers out there. So yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow and we're really, really looking forward to having you back shortly. Again, if you aren't able to join us here at the Penguin Parade, but you would love to help support us, what we do in keeping these penguins safe, remember you can donate to the Penguin Foundation and the link is just in the description below. There's a few different options that you can do there and we really appreciate any donation that you can make and we really appreciate your generosity. So thanks all you penguin adopters in the past and thank you for everyone who's considering adopting into the future as well. Anything else that I've missed or anything else you want to say, Michael?
Just thanks everyone for helping me stump Jordan with a few questions. You did your best to answer them all, and everyone was really appreciative of the answers you gave to us.
Great.
So, thanks.
Thanks, Michael. There was definitely some really, really good questions. I always say, come on, give us your really, really good questions. We absolutely love it. I was like, oh my God, I don't know the answer to that one. So I promise you I will be coming back. There was a question about sounds underwater and blood types. So tune in on Sunday night and I will have an answer for you then for sure. Thanks again for watching everyone. Have a good night and we will do our signature huck off before we leave. So thanks for watching everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Huck, 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 huck.